All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we will be talking about a new feature on Scoir called the Scoir Library and Subscriptions. Before we get started, there are a few things that I just want to go over. Please be sure to take a moment and locate the Q&A within Zoom. I think we actually also have the chat open as well, so either will do for now. Feel free to type in any questions or comments, or if you see something and you'd like to learn more, feel free to type all of that into the chat or into the Q&A. We will be monitoring the Q&A as we go through the session, so we will try to answer questions as we go, but I will also be stopping at the end, and we do have extra time allocated for the end of the session to go through some of your questions and spend some time doing Q&A together. So feel free to type whatever you feel in the chat. Again, we are going to be reviewing it. Also, I want you to know that this session is being recorded, and the recording along with resources will be provided to you at the end today. So please be on the lookout for those emails. Just to give an introduction to myself, so my name is Elliot Rosbach. I am a product education manager here at Scoir. What that means is that I work on everything as it relates to education and training on the platform. So I help to manage our LMS, I help to manage our knowledge base, and I also help assist and manage live and in-person training sessions like the one that you're joining today. Before we get started, I do have a quick poll. I wanted to see what everybody's familiarity is with the communication planner. So we've got a poll that's just popped up. If you wouldn't mind taking just a couple moments to answer that poll. And if you're completely unaware, the communication planner was the previous feature where you had the ability to use to schedule and send emails to students and families. All right, thank you so much for answering your question, for answering the poll. It looks like the majority of people actually did not use the communication planner in the past. So that's pretty interesting. And it's actually really nice to see that you've joined this session with us today. So the subscription feature is actually the evolution of that communication planner. So it might be interesting to see if you do find this version and the updated version of that feature to be more useful and something that you really like to get use out of. So again, thanks again for joining. We're really excited to show this to you, and we believe that it's something that you'll be really excited about. All right, so just to give a brief overview of what I plan to cover today, we're going to talk a little bit about some background on Scoir. We'll talk about, I'll give an overview of the email center and how you can actually utilize the email center to create and manage emails on the Scoir platform. From there, we'll give an introduction to the Scoir library, and then we'll talk about how you can actually manage subscriptions from the library and manage the emails that are available within those subscriptions. So just to give a little background on our company, Scoir was built with a clear mission in mind to simplify college admissions, expand collegiate access, and improve student outcomes. For that reason, we've set out to build a network and series of tools that add transparency and assist students, families, counselors, and colleges with the college application process. One other thing that I'd like to point out is that Scoir is actually free and will always be free for Title I eligible schools. So everything that you're seeing today, everything that we go through, if you are new to Scoir, if you do come from a Title I eligible school, this would be potentially accessible to you at no cost. All right, so with that, I did want to give a brief overview of the email center. So the email center is the portion of Scoir where you have the ability to draft messages and also schedule messages in advance. From the email center, you can also see the status, author, and recipients of an email. You also have the ability to edit emails if you are the author, and you have the ability to delete an email before it's sent. So to show you how that looks in practice, let's take a moment, jump into the platform, and walk through the email center together. So the email center is currently located under the communication tab. So if you are getting new, if you are new to Scoir, or if you want to know, where you can go to actually send scheduled emails and communications with your students and families, that will be available now directly from the communication tab in your system. So by clicking on communication, this takes me directly to the email center. Well, once you're in the email center, when it does come time to create a new email, all you need to do is click the create new button. So this is actually going to open up the email dialog. And here you'll see you have multiple options when it comes time to create and schedule and send emails. The first option at the top is the sending options. So you can see from here that I have the ability to send an email now. I also have the ability to schedule an email for later. So if I choose schedule for later, this will open up the ability to schedule the email and also the ability to schedule a reminder. So if I'd like to schedule an email, all I need to do is pick the date. I also have the ability to pick the specific time that I want that email to be sent out. And I also have the ability to schedule a reminder for that email. So let's actually pick Friday for the time for the date that I want this to go out. And I'm going to choose 8 a.m. in the morning. And for a reminder, let's choose 1 day previous, and 9 a.m. works for me. So now I have an email that I'm going to set up. This email, again, will be scheduled to be sent out in the future. It's going to be going out on Friday morning. And prior to that email being sent out, I will also receive a reminder, also via email, to my own email address, letting me know the details of the email that's scheduled to be sent. The next section here is the send from section. You can see that I currently only have the ability to send from automated@scoir.com. However, if you have enabled the advanced email feature within Scoir, you would be able to actually send it not just from automated@scoir.com, but also from your email address that's connected to the Scoir account. Now, I'm not going to go through exactly how to set up the advanced email integration on Scoir. However, if you are interested in this feature, feel free to let us know in the chat. We can then, be sure to follow up with you. We can follow up with your school or potentially your district to make sure that this feature, to work with you to get this feature enabled and active on your system. So the two biggest benefits from the advanced email integration feature, one is, just as I mentioned, you will be able to actually send emails from your actual email address. So not just from automated@scoir.com, but also from your actual email that is connected to your Scoir account. And the other really great benefit from enabling the advanced email integration is that you can actually send emails to unregistered users on Scoir. So students and families who have not yet registered their Scoir accounts, as long as we have their email address on file, you actually have the ability to send emails to those users. Currently, because I don't have that feature turned on, I can only send to registered users. So again, two really big benefits that you get from the advanced email integration. And as mentioned, I won't actually go through how to set that up during the session today. It is in your account settings. But if you are interested in the advanced email integration, learning more about that feature, potentially working with our team or having our team assist you in getting that set up, just let us know in the chat, and we'll be sure to follow up with you. All right, moving forward, let's talk about our audience. So the next section here is send to. This is actually where we get to designate the audience that we'd like to send this email to. So for me, currently, I think I'm only going to send this email to my current senior and junior class. And you'll see that I also have the ability to choose whether this is going to be going to students or whether it's going to be, whether parents or guardians are going to be included in this message. So I can choose students, I can choose parents or guardians independent of students, or I can choose both. Finally, we do have the ability to include other team members on this message. So if you did want to CC members of your team, you have the ability to include them here as well. Now, for this particular message, I'm not going to CC my team. I'm just going to include students and parents and guardians. And again, this is going to go out to my class of 2022 and 2023. Once you have indicated the audience that you would like this message to go to, one of the other nice pieces of this feature is that you actually get to see the details of who this message is going to be sent to. So by clicking on View Details here, you can see that I can actually see all of the students and all of the parents or guardians that this message is being sent to. And we'll keep a record of this. This will always be viewable for each individual email that's being sent out through the system. And I'll show you how you can access that as we go through the review of the emails in just a moment. Finally, the last section here is where you can actually draft your message. So for example, I'm just going to draft a message for Counselor Appreciation Day. And when it does come time to draft your message, you have the ability to add a subject and then update the message just like any regular email. So it's just like editing any email that you've done before. So you should be relatively familiar with how this works. Now, once you're ready to either schedule this email or save it as a draft, you have the ability to do either. You can click either of these options here. Or if you'd like to disregard this email, you can always cancel the email. So let's actually schedule this email and plan for that email to be sent out. Now, once I have my emails planned and ready to go, I wanted to show you how you actually have the ability to manage and edit those emails that are planned to be sent. So anytime that you'd like to actually manage an email, all you need to do is click on the subject of the email here. So when I click on the subject, you'll see that the details of the email pop up. I can see what the subject of that email would be. I can see the body of the email. I also have the ability to view the details of who that email is being sent to. And then if I'd like to edit this email, all I have to do is click this edit button. So even though we scheduled this email to be sent already, we also have the ability to update and change the email up to 2 minutes before that email is actually scheduled to be sent. So if you've ever scheduled an email on the Scoir system or through our email planner here, you will get a reminder if you schedule a reminder. And let's say something has changed as you're going through the process or during the week that this email was planned to go out, you will have the ability to come back here and maybe make changes to, potentially with the class year or the audience that that email is being sent to, and even the subject or the content of that email. Once you've made your updates, all you have to do is click schedule again, and it will reschedule the email using your updated details. Going back here, one other thing I wanted to point out is that we will always track when emails are updated and the time and who updated that email, along with who actually created that email to begin with. So here, you'll always be able to see the tracking of the last update to that email. So when that update was made and who made that update. You'll also be able to see who created an email and when it was created. So full oversight over the email process. Now, if you did want to cancel an email or change that email, you also have the ability to do so by moving to the right here. You'll see that I have the actions button here. And from here, I also have the ability to quickly delete, edit, or unschedule an email if I'd like to. So again, you have full oversight over the email process. You have the ability to check all the emails that are scheduled to be sent, update those emails, and make changes to those emails as you like. One last thing I wanted to show you about the email center is your ability to filter the emails. So the really nice thing here is that you do have filters available to you on the left-hand side. You'll notice that I'm currently looking at all of my emails, but if I'd like to look at emails that have already been sent, emails that are currently scheduled, or emails that are drafted, I have the ability to filter by those categories and view those emails that way. One of the nice things about the sent category, if you'd ever like to check, who received a specific email, again, all you have to do is go to sent. You can click on that email, click view details, and I can see exactly who this email was sent to. So if you're ever unsure about who an email was sent to, or if you ever get feedback that somebody did not receive an email or was never sent an email message, you always have the ability to check and reassure yourself that of who specifically was designated to receive that email and where that email was sent. So I know that there are some questions that are coming through about the email center as I've gone through it. Again, I just want to reiterate, I'll be definitely taking some time towards the end of the session today. We should have quite a bit of extra time. So we'll go back and I'll try to answer as many of the questions as I can that have come through. But what I'd like to show you next is the library and subscriptions. So again, this is the newest release on our system, and it is essentially the evolution of what previously was known as the communication planner. So to access the Scoir library, I just need to click Scoir Library next to all emails here. Once selected, you can see that new categories of emails become available. Now, these emails can either be scheduled individually or they can be subscribed to via the Manage Subscriptions button at the top here. So all I'm going to do is click Manage Subscriptions. And here you actually have the ability to subscribe to all of the different categories of emails that are available in the library. Once subscribed, what that means is that these emails will automatically be scheduled to be sent. So you can see once I subscribe to each category, now all of these emails have automatically been scheduled. Even though these have automatically been scheduled, you do still have the ability to make changes to the message. So you can always unschedule it. You also have the ability to click on the message. And when you click on it, you do have the ability to edit both the timing of when that message is going to be sent. And again, you can cancel and choose not to send the message at all. You can update when you'd like this message to be sent. You also have the ability to update the audience. But one thing to be aware of is that with the library messages, you will not have the ability to update the content of the message. So the reason for that is that this content is preloaded into the system. And for that reason, you currently cannot update the content of the message. So you can update who it's being sent to, when it's being sent, but just be aware that the content is essentially static. One other thing I'd like to point out is that the messages in the library can also be filtered by category, similar to the emails that you have access to. So one thing to notice, when I choose Scoir Library, you can see all of the categories become available here as filters. By clicking on a category, I'm going to filter just for that specific category, and I can see the emails that are included in that specific category. One last thing that I want to just make sure that you're aware of is that as this feature continues to develop and evolve, we may be adding future content to certain categories, and we may also be adding additional categories that you can subscribe to. So please be aware that if you are subscribed to a specific category, if we do add future content to that category, you would potentially be subscribed to the emails that are added to that category. And those emails would be scheduled to be sent because of your subscription. Now, again, if you prefer not to subscribe to the category, you can always choose not to subscribe. You still do have the ability to make use of these messages, and you can individually choose to schedule the messages to be sent. Okay, so now that we've gone over all of the features of the Scoir library, I did just want to point out a couple of best practices to be aware of. One is just a reminder about auto send and subscription updates. So again, as we continue to make updates to the system, if we do add new emails or content to a particular subscription, if you are subscribed to that category, you will automatically be subscribed to the new content. So just be aware that those subscriptions and the automated function of those subscriptions will continue to apply as new content is added. Now, on top of that, we have added reminders as a part of the system. So even though new content might be added and you may be subscribed to that new content, you will always receive a reminder 24 hours prior to when that email is scheduled to be sent. So you will always receive a reminder for any of the messages that you subscribe to on the system. Just to give you a preview of what that reminder looks like, here you can see this is what the reminder will look like. The reminder will go directly to your email address. So whatever email address you're currently using that is associated with your Scoir account, you can see that in the subject, we tried to make it very clear that this is a reminder for an email. You can see when it's scheduled. So this will show up right inside your inbox. It's going to be the subject of that message. And then we do give you an overview of what that message will be. So here you can see as a reminder, you'll be able to see who scheduled an email. You'll be able to see the subject of that email, the send date and time, and then a reminder here that the email can be edited or canceled up to 2 minutes before the scheduled send time. So again, we did try to ensure that there are reminders built into the system. They are a part of the scheduled emails. And we're really excited about this new feature, and we hope that you're equally as excited as we are. So with that, I think what I can do now is we've got quite a bit of time left. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of the questions that have come through and see if we have and see if there's some questions that I might be able to answer while we're here. Okay, it looks like quite a few people are interested in the advanced email integration, so we will definitely be following up with you. If you are at a Miami-Dade school, we're already in the process of working with your IT team to potentially get this email integration set up. So there was one piece of feedback that with the old system, you did have the ability to tweak messages to fit your specific needs. So I'll definitely take that feedback. We'll take that feedback back to our team. But as the feature is today, I just want to reiterate that for the library messages, those are the messages that are available to be utilized, that are preloaded. Again, because they're preloaded, they are currently not able to be edited. Now, there was a comment from a member of our team just to point out that if you did like the content of a message, You do also have the ability to copy that particular message. By copying it, you would potentially be taking ownership over that message and then would have the ability to change the content of that message. And there was a question that came through about attaching documents. So currently documents cannot be attached to these emails in the way that you would with a typical email. And I'm just checking the Q&A here also to see if there's any other questions that have come through. There was a question about the ability to get live basic training. We do offer live training as a part of our services. So definitely, if you can share your email, we can connect you with your client success manager, who is the dedicated point of contact connected to your school, and they should be able to schedule a live training alongside with you. And again, there was a couple more questions about attachments. So although you can add hyperlinks to our emails, attachments are often requested, but it's not a feature that's available yet. It's definitely something that our team is aware of, though. And then there were questions about ACT or SAT, so standardized test reminders. Those are currently not included in this rollout of the Scoir library. So as we receive more feedback, if you do feel like it's important and that is a feature that's important to you, please let us know. The more feedback we receive, of course, that will help us to shape what actually gets added to content here. Okay, I think that is I think those are all of the questions that have come through. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one last question. So do you receive a notification if a subscription has a new message? So I just wanted to point out that although you will not receive a notification to a new message as a part of a subscription, you will always receive a reminder. So that reminder is essentially the notification. And again, you'll have 24 hours to edit or remove or copy and change that message. All right, and I think because we have some extra time, maybe we can go through the advanced email integration process, just so that some people can get an understanding of the basics of how this will work. So as mentioned, and just as a reminder, with the advanced email integration, you do get two really great benefits. The first is that you can choose whether you'd like emails to be sent from the automated @Scoir address or to be coming directly from your actual email address that is associated with your Scoir account. And then the other really big benefit of the feature is that you do have the ability to email students and parents and guardians that have not yet registered a Scoir account. So the ability to message students who haven't even registered for Scoir. All right, so let's quickly and briefly walk through what the advanced email integration looks like and how to take the first initial steps in getting that started. So as we mentioned in a lot of our training sessions, anytime that you want to do anything that's administrative, that would be an admin feature of the platform, the place where you access those administrative features is in the upper right-hand corner in the drop-down menu. So anytime that you need to do anything that's an admin aspect of utilizing Scoir, remember, all you need to do is click on your name. Now, you do need to have admin access in order to go through the advanced email integration process. So if you aren't able to see the options, the same options that I'm seeing on my account, the reason may be because you don't currently have admin access. So you will either need to speak to the person who does have admin access or request admin access from the support team at Scoir. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the school account and settings here. And from here, you can see we have the advanced email integration option at the top. So it's one of the first things that you'll see. And from here, what you'll need to do is update the DNS settings for your email. And that's going to be coming from the administrator of your actual email account on Scoir at your school. So this is going to be the email that is not necessarily the actual email system that your school uses. The administrator of that system, so most likely somebody who works in your IT department, will need to update what are known as DNS settings in order to allow for the integration. So you'll see that there is a button here that says contact Scoir support to update your email domain settings. So by clicking here, it will send our team a notification that you'd like to get your the advanced email integration set up, and our team will work with you to get that set up. And then we've also got information here that you can click on to learn about advanced email. So if I click here, it is going to show me the process for setting up and enabling the advanced email feature. So a lot of this is relatively technical, but again, if you do scroll down here and read through it, it should give a relatively clear understanding of how DNS works and what your IT administrator needs to do. Once your IT administrator updates the DNS configuration, all you'll need to do is update your email domain in the system. And then a message will either be sent to your IT administrator, or you can share the instructions with your IT administrator in order to update the DNS settings. Once those DNS settings have been updated, you will have access to the advanced email integration will be enabled. And again, you'll have access to all those advanced features. Okay, and I just want to be sure that there aren't any final questions that have come through. So there was a question about emails sent to students and parents and guardians. Do those go to school email addresses, or do those stay within a communication in Scoir? So in the past, a lot of our communications were actually within the Scoir system. But moving forward, we've realized how important email is and getting those emails to the actual email addresses of your students and parents and guardians. And so for that reason, when you send emails via Scoir, those are actual emails that will go to your students and families' actual email addresses. And again, as a part of that, depending on the email system that your students are using and how they're notified for those emails, they will receive notifications about those emails. And again, that email will go directly into that student's email inbox. And again, I just want to reiterate, and I think Becky has also noted in the chat, that if you did mention that you'd like to set up or would like assistance setting up the advanced email integration, our team will definitely be working with in setting that up. And if you are coming from a Miami-Dade school, I recognize a few of you in the chat here. If you are at a Miami-Dade school, we are working with your team at Dade to hopefully get the system set up. Oh, and I'm sorry, there was one further question about once it is set up, how would parents or students who are not registered receive the emails? So the way that it will work is the emails that you're sending via Scoir will go to whichever email address your students have on file when we added them to your Scoir account initially. So when we loaded your students into the Scoir system, as a part of that information, email addresses were included. And so the messages that you send will be sent directly to those email addresses. So not to your students in Scoir, but directly to the emails associated with their account. Okay, and I just want to make sure that there aren't any further questions that have come through. Okay, I don't believe we've got any further questions. So I do just want to say thank you to everybody who's joined us today. We really do appreciate the fact that you took time out of your day to learn about the Scoir, the Scoir platform and our new features. We also really hope that you get value out of this feature, and we definitely want to hear your feedback. We will continue to develop based off of that feedback. So we're excited for you to start using these features that we talked about today. And we are excited for you to continue to utilize Scoir and be partners with us. So thank you again for taking the time today. And we really appreciate you and look forward to continue to working with you.